There's some incredible TV coming out of the UK right now. Brits just do it differently. The accents, the wit, the scenery, the devastating one-liners disguised as compliments. It's all streaming on BritBox. They have the best mysteries, dramas, comedies, and seriously addicting originals like Outrageous, based on the true story of the Mitford sisters. They were kind of like the Kardashians of the 1930s, wealthy, audacious, chaotic, wildly opinionated, and always making headlines. And chances are you've never heard their story. It's stunning. It's jaw-dropping. It's very British. So check out Outrageous. It could be your next favorite. Don't miss Outrageous, streaming now only on BritBox.
You're recording me too, right?
Yeah, the Zoom is recording too.
My audition's been weird today.
It's funny that you use it so much that it's weird today.
Yes, I edit.
Yeah.
It's like a child. It has days where it's just like, fuck you.
Yeah. And you're like, do not make me reset your fucking plugin. I'll do it. I do it to Premiere twice a month, just like as a threat.
So, Todd, you watched like 15 minutes of the original Friday the 13th? Is that what happened?
And did not notice.
We should probably, yes, that happened. I was like, after 15 minutes, I was like, okay, this is not like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, where they just played the first movie over for the first 15 minutes. And then I was like, shit, I just watched the wrong movie, I guess. So I had to switch, and so sorry I'm a little bit late.
Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
And I'm your Horror Virgin, Todd, which means I don't like scary movies, but you guys make me watch them. And this week, because it's our holiest of high holidays, Friday the 13th, we are joined by our Friday the 13th expert, Jonathan Watkins from CinemaSins. So Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Always fun.
It has been a long road, and we are here at the end of it, my friends.
Now that we've come
Thank you, Paige.
to the end
Jonathan, we came here to tell you, thank you so much
Still I can't
for guesting
you go.
on this podcast so many
It's
times.
unnatural
For something that I really
with
truly
the
think
hockey
started as a
mask.
bit, and it just became something that we continue to do. So Jonathan, thank you so much.
You're
Paige,
welcome.
I can't believe you just like ad-libbed that, and we just like, that honestly worked. I'm keeping it in just the way it happened. That shit was funny.
Todd was doing that. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to cheat on you for the 20th
Yeah,
time.
Exactly.
So there has not been a Friday the 13th. This was 2009, right?
Yes.
So there hasn't been a Friday the 13th film in 16 years. That's crazy.
It has been a long time since we've had one, but after this one, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like maybe let's give it a beat, right?
This one made a ton of money, though. I don't know why there wasn't a sequel, but I'm glad there wasn't. But we'll talk about that later.
I couldn't tell if this was as bad as I thought it was, or if it was just because we watched Sinners and then we watched this.
Oh, yeah.
I do think our the dial is skewed, if that makes sense.
Oh, yes.
So you guys loved Sinners.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sinners is great, man.
Sinners was incredible.
Let's talk about Sinners.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yo, we talked for Sinners for 3 hours last night. We got done at 1 a.m., just after 1 a.m.
And that's the only reason we stopped is because it was 1 in the morning.
I know.
And my voice was gone by that point. But we were just the circle, the music. We just kept screaming.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
2 funny things before I ask you some questions about this movie. A, when Paige and I finished recording, we talked for another 20 minutes because that's the kind of people we are. And B, when I came in to record with you guys, guess what movie my wife had just started watching? Sinners, yeah.
Oh, did she not watch it with you? Or I thought she did. Is she...
No, this is her second time at least
That's
seeing
what's up.
it. Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great movie, but let me ask you guys, when was the first time you saw this Friday the 13th from 2009?
I saw it in the theater. I think I saw it opening weekend.
That checks out.
Yeah. And then I've watched it a couple. This is probably maybe my 4th time to see it. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I watched this in 2 parts today because I'm still super sick and haven't been eating because I have no appetite because I'm sick. I did not realize it had been too long since I had not eaten. And I got 30 minutes into this movie and I was like, I feel very cold and dizzy, and managed to thankfully pause the film. before collapsing onto my own couch. And then my husband had to wake me up and make me eat pizza.
Wow.
And then I finished the rest of the movie.
That should be like on the poster, like Friday the 13th made me pass out or something. Yeah.
Made me pass out. This movie frustrates me in a very unique way because here's the thing. I'm here for bonkers kills. I'm here for the crazier Friday the 13th. I'm here for the one that's basically an Evil Dead movie. Like, I'm here for that shit, right?
Yeah.
This movie wastes so much time on boring, unimaginative kills of characters we could not care less about when it has a fascinating B plot that they spend 2 scenes on. Period.
A decent cast, too.
Hang on. What's the B plot? I gotta know.
The idea that she looks like his mom, and so he's actually kept her alive.
Yeah.
And that she's alive and they're trying to find her. And we see like one scene of it, and then we get nothing for an hour, and then they're like, oh, hey, conveniently, she's right here.
And he's got quick tunnels like the Gummy Bears. It's amazing.
That's because Jason, hear me out. Welcome to my TED Talk. Jason Voorhees is El Chapo because he kills people anytime they try to take his weed. He has a series of tunnels underground to escape.
Why is he growing weed?
Why is he growing weed?
Is he selling it?
Because he's a businessman.
Like, is he going to people and be like, hey?
But even he never seems to sell it. And anytime anyone else gets to the weed, he kills them. Which makes me think that Jason's just growing it for himself and just like chiefing his days away.
Maybe.
Where they're like, he wants to be left alone with his Xbox and his Code Red. Like, whatever.
If you expect me to believe that Jason built a fully like walkable for him, a tall ass dude, like tunnel system underneath a lake.
Oh, I think it was already there, right?
Why would it be there?
I don't know. Mine shafts? I don't know.
Also, the water table that close to a lake, it would be impossible. Like,
I know.
It's impossible.
Maybe that's just a thing in New Jersey. Maybe there's just tunnels.
Plus the like lift-upable bathtub and the Ferraris.
It's crazy.
Those tunnels lead straight to Miami.
He must have like mastered a few classes in this camp before the tragedy happened.
Yeah.
Those classes are the bow and arrow and civil engineering because like he would have to have like a lot of like know-how to build those tunnels.
If this was happening today, he'd be like that lady on TikTok that's building a tunnel under her house, where he'd just be like, I have synthesized this cement mixer for the tunnels. I'm carrying the blocks up to the surface. Like, he'd be that lady who always wears a green lab coat as if she's some sort of scientist.
Or he just watched Shawshank a bunch.
That too.
I'm glad to hear what Paige had to say, though, because I always feel alone in disliking this movie. I respect the fact that it's probably like one of the better made. Have you guys covered any of the other Platinum Dunes? Like, have you guys done Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake or?
No, not many of the remakes at all, honestly.
Or The Hitcher?
We might be doing the Hitcher
We might be doing the
soon.
Hitcher soon. Not the remake, though. We're doing the original. Rucker Hauer, let's go.
Yeah, the original's great. But these Platinum Dunes was Michael Bay and all these other people, and they did all these remakes for like a 15-year period. And I think they look like shit. Like, I don't know. There's something about it, but people love them. Like, there's a huge fan base for all those.
I wonder if they look the way they do, because I do think they have a very specific look to them.
They do.
But that was around the time DSLRs or like digital cameras became
that too.
Like Hollywood adjacent. They weren't quite as good as they eventually got, but they were like good enough that a lot of low budget Hollywood crews would use them.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the first one they did, and that was a huge hit, and they all looked the same after that. And like it's even felt like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, like when he goes to that old woman's house and she's just like, people die.
Oh yeah, she's dead. Yeah.
She did not feel like a Friday the 13th character. She felt like something out of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or even like The Hills Have Eyes or something.
Yeah. Jason also teleports everywhere in this movie. It's one of the worst for the teleporting.
But he has tunnels. I think he's using the tunnels, right?
No, I mean, like, he's on the bottom floor of the house. Suddenly
That's
he's on
right.
the roof.
He's
Then he's
on
on
the
the bottom
roof.
floor.
Yeah.
Then he's on the roof. Then he's in a completely different house.
I just assumed that there were 3 people in Jason masks around the house like it was 3 amigos.
Maybe he's a good jumper.
You mean from the movie Jumper?
Yes, yeah. He is Hayden Christensen.
Where they legit teleport?
Or like Rick and Morty. He's just got a gun. He's like shooting the portals open.
I would love it if like they explained Jason's teleportation with that. That would be hilarious.
They finally go to kill Jason, and he's like, the cake is a lie. And they're like, he speaks? What?
This movie does 2 things that I appreciated, though, even though I'm not, let's just say, a huge fan of it. And that is, in the first 6 minutes of the movie, they tell me Jason's backstory twice.
Yep.
Oh, there's 2 prologues. There's 2 fucking prologues.
Yes, absolutely. And then Clay spends like 90% of the movie just wandering from like one Friday the 13th set to another, like he's on some Jason self-guided tour of Crystal Lake. Like, they stop at the Red Barn from part 3. They go to the Jason Shack from part 2. Like, I'm surprised by the end of this when he's walking out of here with his sister that he doesn't have like a machete keychain from the gift shop.
Ooh.
Like, he's just going from like set to set the whole movie.
Somebody make me a machete keychain and send it to the P.O. box. Todd, hit him with the address.
I'll take it. It's going to be at the end of the plug session. I don't have it memorized. But anyway, I thought it was funny that they just like pack in, like his whole story is fan service, it feels like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's one of the I can see technically it's one of the better made. I think it's got one of the better casts. I don't think they're used well.
I think it does too.
It's like TV Land Central, though. It's like all these people from TV shows around that time, like Jared Padalecki on Supernatural, and Amanda Rigetti was from The Mentalist, and Danielle Panabaker would eventually be on The Flash or whatever. But yeah, but like it's boring. Like it's just it's all plot, and like you said, the kills aren't even interesting. And I don't know, I feel like an old man, like get off my lawn. But like the first 8 are the ones for me. Like that's just my. That's the way I like it, goofy and weird, and them trying to like cram a bunch of bizarre mythology in and just, And then like Paige even said, even like the fucking Jason Goes to Hell and Jason Going to Space, I'm cool with that too. Like that's fun and weird. And
at least it's weird. Yeah.
This is just dull.
Yeah, because that's still, I think, thematically on the same level as the original Jason or Friday the 13th movies were.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a little bit of camp in Friday the 13th.
Yes.
And this movie feels very serious.
Right.
Which almost makes it kind of mean-spirited, right? Like it feels a lot grosser.
Yeah, when they killed Jenna, I was pissed.
Yeah. They had to have done that on purpose because she is the quote final girl. Like she is the trope for the final girl.
Is that Danielle Panabaker's character? The main girl
Yes,
that
it
before
is.
Yeah.
that's with Jared Padalecki trying to find his sister. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember their names. So yeah.
I feel like Friday the 13th and slasher movies in general really are best when they are really messed up morality tales, where it's like people that you don't like for various reasons die in ways that please you. And we wait a whole fucking movie for them to kill Trent, and then when they do, it's not even exciting. But then we get to the end, we've been rooting for Jenna the whole time, and then they're just like, no, we can't have 2 final girls. And I'm like, she was the one good one. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, they did that because, well, I don't know, but I assume they did that because you assume it's gonna be Jenna. And like, they make Trent the worst because like they make him suck on so many levels. Like he invites his friends to his cabin that he clearly doesn't want them at. He cheats on Jenna with Bree.
Do you think they're really together though? Like I feel like he was trying to make that happen and it wasn't happening.
They were like dating.
He calls her babe. Like,
okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like dating. And he just cheats on her with Bree.
She has perfect nipple placement, Todd.
I did think that shit was funny, that he's the kind of douche that would say it like that in like while he's having sex.
There's some legit like funny dialogue in this movie, which is
yes. I laughed a few times. I mean, there are a few cuts that are humorous that I laughed at quite a few times. But I think the worst thing that Trent does is he has the audacity to start this movie dating the person that I thought was the final girl while he knew the whole time he wasn't going to survive. Like, that's unfair. Eat a dick, Trent. I hated Trent. He was the worst.
Oh, yeah. I think you're supposed to. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you are, yeah.
And the actor does a good job with that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, he does. I think his performance of Trent is great. You just hate Trent.
Yeah, I went to a private school, so I grew up with a lot of Trents. And, ugh.
Yeah.
But that's why you're like, I want Trent to die, if not first, then painfully. And like, we don't get either.
I mean, he gets a pretty painful death. I mean,
It's not as cool, though.
He gets impaled like 4 of the other 7 people do.
That's
like,
that's
they
true.
impale so many people that I was like, come up with something else. But also, the deaths in the middle take so long with so little payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you're 2 different people walk through the same fucking tool shed for 5 to 10 minutes each, and then ultimately just get stabbed or axed by Jason with no fanfare.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff that Jason does. Like I kind of find it interesting where he tries to use the one guy's bait.
Yeah.
And but then that doesn't really go anywhere. But I mean, there's like some ideas there that I like.
Man, I thought it was cool that they were doing that. And then when Jason, just after it didn't work for 30 seconds, just kills the guy, I was like, oh, I guess that's over. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, whatever. Thanks.
But I'm assuming that lake house isn't brand new and it's been there for a while and they've spent summers there and like
Right.
So how is this the first time that anything's happened? Like I mean I don't know. Is it just, I guess, are we just supposed to believe people came and started messing with his pot, so that's why he came out of hiding? I guess
That's why I said he is El Chapo.
yeah, maybe
He was fine as long as they looked the other way and no one called the DEA.
Because how long is it between his sister disappearing and them coming? Is it weeks?
It's been a month. He says a month.
Okay.
It happened last month, he says. So I guess it could have been.
So it's not terribly long. Okay.
No, but that's like another problem with it, though, is like, I mean, you could explain this away with the final girl, like the movie Final Girl's explanation of Jason is attracted to sex and drugs.
Yes.
And again, maybe he's El Chapo. I'm just saying, like, that solves a lot of these quandaries. But I kept, like, anytime he came around, it was because people were fucking. And it just made me think of that scene in Final Girls where they're trying to, like, bait Jason and they get, I think her name is Tina or Trina, to do, like, a crazy sexy dance, and it brings him around.
Oh.
Because that seemed to be what happened.
I do love that up until that point in that movie, though, they have her hands wrapped in, like,
Yeah,
oven
she's got
mitts and
oven
won't
mitts.
let her, like... Yeah, they like aggressively won't let her take her clothes off. It's so funny.
Yeah. Dances to Cherry Pie, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Somebody call warrant because it's about to get sexy. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason only seems to come around when people are messing with his weed or fucking on his land.
Which, like, I get it. Like, I get it.
Who are you, Jason? My mom?
Also, how about his mom? I don't know if you guys are Star Trek people, but I love that
Yes.
his mom was Nana Visitor from Deep Space Nine. That is so exciting.
I did recognize her.
She's totally overdoing it too, which is also really fun.
So much.
He was my son.
You were supposed to be watching him the whole time. A whole bag.
That sounds just like Sleepaway Camp Aunt.
That's true. It kind of does.
I can only do so many impressions with this voice.
Maybe that's who maybe Nana Visitor watched Sleepaway Camp before. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that.
Just like Todd watched the wrong movie. She was like, this is Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah, tell us about the beginning of this movie, Todd.
So at the beginning of this movie, we see 2 teenagers who are clearly putting on a camp or working at a camp, like sneak off to have sex, and then they get killed.
I mean, you're still not wrong.
I know. I guess that's my point.
I also hate that the camp is closed. Like, that's the camp. Like, I don't think the movies did enough with the camp, to be honest. That's kind of part of the whole thing, right? And it's like,
Well, I thought it was interesting because I've seen Never Hike Alone, and the beginning of the first 30 minutes of this movie basically steals the plot from Never Hike Alone, or vice versa, because I think Never Hike Alone came after.
oh, that's right. It's closed in that too, right?
It's closed, and in Never Hike Alone, he's hiking, and he's kind of like a vlogger, and he's like, look, it's not Sleepaway Camp.
Same thing.
It's Camp Crystal Lake, and he goes through all the sets, and they've kind of recreated them or whatever. And this movie kind of starts the same. I did hate that they literally wasted 30 minutes just to pad the kill count of this movie, because we kill one whole set of teens, and then the movie starts.
Paige, and it's like the whole thing over again almost, right?
The whole thing over again, yes.
Yeah.
And like all to illustrate that his sister is missing, which you could have done in what? One scene. Single scene.
I mean, you could have done it in 6 and it would have been less than the amount of scenes we got in this.
You could have just started it, hey, my sister's been missing for a month.
Yeah, you could have. She went camping with friends. We don't even need to see that. The only reason we see it is because they have to make the connection that she looks like Jason's mom,
Yeah.
which is tenuous at best. But like, at least it's something different. But we essentially watch 30 minutes of a movie, and then they're like, just kidding, none of that matters. And then they restart the movie 30 minutes in, and it's no better. It's the same. There's not much different about it, except now we have one of the Winchesters hot on the case.
the one with zero charisma.
Hey.
Is that a Supernatural reference? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I like Padalecki. I'm a Supernatural fan, so
He's Dean Winchester?
He's Sam.
He's Sam Winchester. I never did a full watch through of Supernatural. I just watch it whenever it's on TV. So I have a tenuous grasp.
I didn't make it all 15 seasons. But I did watch the half of it probably, at least. So it was fun.
Honestly, Todd, you'd like it. You would like Supernatural.
I think you would, yeah.
I kind of hate procedurals for the most part. I don't know what's wrong with me, but
It's not really a procedural.
okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is Monster of the Week, but then there's also overarching.
There's a lot of storylines and
There's huge, big arc storylines.
Okay.
I think of it like tame True Blood.
Okay. I have somewhat of a controversial question.
Yeah.
Do y'all think it's weird they tried to bury Jason the same way we buried Osama bin Laden?
Can I tell you that I forgot that we buried Osama bin Laden at sea until a few weeks ago when SNL did back-to-back Weekend Update jokes about it? And I was like, oh, that's right, we did that.
They double tapped it just like SEAL Team 6 did.
Exactly. One in his heart, two in his computer. They double tapped it. They had like 2 stories like a week apart of like, we accidentally dropped a plane into the ocean. I wonder who's down there who could use a plane. And then it was just like a picture of Osama.
Oh my God, not Jason. Oh, sorry.
no.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I get them confused. My mistake.
They're very similar.
No, that's Jason and Michael.
Right.
They're very similar.
But to be fair, they dropped Jason in a lake many times before.
Multiple
times before this. So
never sticks.
I guess it didn't this time either, although since we didn't get a sequel, I don't know if that ending was supposed to be real or not.
I mean, it backfires so fast. Like, it is 30 seconds, and it's only that long because he has to go swim a little bit further down to get his mask back on, and then he's, shoots back to the surface. Yeah.
He does put the mask back on.
Yeah, he does.
Which is wild.
Paige, he feels naked without it.
Oh, finding the mask is dumb too. I wish he had just already had the mask. None of that, because that scene was stupid. That character was terrible. Like, I didn't need the whole thing with Sam Winchester meeting up with that guy, and the guy's like, I was about to open up a can of whoop ass or whatever he said to him, and that's so dumb.
Oh, the guy who was just like my ex-girlfriend having sex with a manny?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, a mannequin.
Okay, that's a story we need.
Oh, we covered it on our mannequin episode.
Yeah, you'll have to go listen to the mannequin episode of Romancing the Pod, but...
I'll check that out then for sure.
Yeah.
Listening to that tonight.
His name was Manny. He was not a mannequin.
Right. But do you guys want to talk about Friday the 13th, perhaps scene by scene?
All right, so we open on Samuel walking towards a church holding just the neck of a guitar.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And the flip of this scene when at the end you realize he is going to have to make a choice between assimilation this way and staying true to his culture. Sorry, this is exactly what we said last night. So we got to move through it, guys. We got to move through the joke.
And I cannot stress this enough. 2 Michael B. Jordans.
Jonathan, both Michael A. and Michael B. Jordan are in that movie.
Yes. 2 Jordans.
Both alike in dignity.
In Michael B.
Because of the twins. I'm with you now.
Yes. Smoke and Stack were played by Michael A. and Michael B. Jordan.
But we open on a title card, on multiple Prodco title cards, which made me question how good this movie was going to be. And boy, was our thesis right. We have a saying on this show that the more production companies at the beginning of a movie, the worse the movie is.
Typically.
Too many cooks.
Did you guys not like Late Night with the Devil?
Oh, I loved Late Night with the Devil.
Okay. That's an exception, I guess.
That is an exception. And we mentioned it on that episode where we were like,
Nice.
Normally, this would concern us. And yet, no, I loved Late Night with the Devil. But one of them is Michael Bay. And so I got kind of excited that maybe he was going to drop something off a giant truck on a freeway. We don't get it. But we open on a title card that says June 13th, 1980. And we get the credits intercut with like a black and white reimagining of the original ending of the original movie.
Yes.
Where Pamela Voorhees is killing the campers.
It's pretty much just Pamela Voorhees giving us, like, just being great at two things. And those two things are being crazy and given crazy good exposition.
There you go.
It also looked like they were in a swamp. Like, that did not look like a lake. It looked like they were in a swamp or something.
It was just like Camp Crystal Lake on the Louisiana Bayou.
I was going to say, yeah, Camp Crystal Lake, Bayou, Louisiana.
They never gonna find these bodies because the gators will get them. Like that. And by son, I mean this gator, Jason. I raised him as my own. He even breastfed.
Helmet Osama are hanging out at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, just the bottom of the... I hope there's nobody down at the bottom of the lake that could use a gator.
Right now, Michael Che is frantically writing down a joke.
A second gator has hit the docks of this bayou. But this is just to give us more exposition and to add a piece of lore that'll be important later in the movie, which is the locket that Pamela Voorhees is wearing, which the way they film this is so confusing because the final girl cuts the head off, gets the locket, and then it looks like she dies, maybe. And you're like, what all happened with the locket? But then we find it later. It is they give us more information later that Jason came back, finished the job, and got the locket, which basically rewrites history, but fine.
I mean, this is supposed to be a rebooting of the whole franchise, right? So they can, I guess, do that.
I guess. But we get Pamela Voorhees voiceover just, "You're my special boy." Mm-hmm. And then they pan across all the dead bodies that look like the dead bodies in a county fair haunted house.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Like somebody was like, just draw smiley faces on them with Sharpies. Like it's bonkers bad.
Why are those dead bodies so happy?
Wait, why did those hands look like they're perfectly cleaved at the wrist bone? Like they look so plastic.
Pretty sure those 3 dead bodies are wearing this year's collection.
Yeah, I was like, Madame Tussauds could never.
Sorry, they just like took mannequins out of them all and threw them in there.
That'd be extra funny because then they'd just be like looking. You know how mannequins have like a...
Actually, most mannequins I see don't have a head, and that sounds creepy.
It is creepy.
But I don't have them in my home. Those are just like out in public.
What's wild is this actually had a budget too. Like,
I know.
We'll talk through all that. Yeah, it did have a budget.
Oh my God.
Mannequins don't have heads or faces because you're supposed to picture yourself in the clothes.
Gross.
But there's just like Tom Savini's don't exist anymore. So
I mean, Tom Savini's still alive.
Yeah, Tom Savini right now finding out he no longer exists, guys.
Well, he is, but he's not really doing anything.
He's no longer actively working because his hands. He has really bad like arthritis and stuff in his hands and can no longer work. It is very, very sad.
Yeah, I was aware he was alive. I wasn't trying to kill him.
That's so sad, though.
I mean, Greg Nicotero, I guess, is the oldest, probably still.
Greg Nicotero is the oldest and still around and still doing it. And that's why when stuff looks really good, you're like, ooh, and then his name's in the credits. Mm-hmm. But also, Tom Savini has a school.
He does.
Where he teaches up-and-comers to do it.
That's cool.
I think part of the problem is that a lot of places don't want to pay for good practical effects.
They don't.
No one is calling up Stan Winston's, factory anymore. Factory is a weird word, but you know what I mean.
It's like all these little kids working there.
Art house or whatever. Nobody's calling Stan Winston's crew to come make something, that defies your imagination anymore. They're just like, CGI it.
Yeah.
And this is kind of at the beginning of that era. But for this, I guess they were just like, I don't know. Do you guys have like a bunch of like crash test dummies we can just dump in this swamp? So then we cut to present day, which is 2009. And we get our requisite group of teens. They're all there to camp and have sex and do the drugs. But most importantly, they have somehow heard that there's a patch of weed here and they're going to harvest and sell it.
I think it's wild that like Jason is just taking out ads in like collegiate newspapers about his like weed growing operation in the like forest to see who he can trap in this.
Yeah, just come up to Eureka, trim for a summer. We promise there's no Bigfoot here.
I bet that's what it is. He's luring people in. That makes sense.
This movie from a high level is almost exactly the same as The Beach.
Exact same.
Two idiots on the search for a perfect place with a bunch of weed. Guys,
I mean,
it checks out.
I was going to say this movie's more of a sativa if you need to like sleep.
Sativa's the other side of it. Sativa's like the happy one.
Is
like,
it?
Yeah, the
I
more
don't
energetic one. Not that I know. How would I know?
You know, whatever is there. And here's the other thing. They're very loose on how these people know there's weed there, but they have like geocaching equipment where they've got like a GPS.
And it's like old school GPS. Like it is like they have a
Yeah.
GPS unit that they carry in their hand.
Yes.
That's how old it is.
And they have a geomarker for where the weed is. So like somebody found it and marked it, and then they are going to find it.
And didn't get killed or something.
And didn't get killed.
I think it could easily be that Jason just went to the local library and posted on the geocaching like subreddit that there's a stash of like weed at this coordinate. So like he's just pulling people in this way.
I'm just picturing him hunched over a library computer and someone being like, shh, and him being like, oh.
I like the idea of someone having to shush a famously silent character. That just means he's like just pounding away on that keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, if he would type with something other than the machete, it wouldn't be so loud. He's what they call a hunting stabber. You know what I'm saying?
He's like having to adjust the mask to see the screen.
It's hard to see through the holes where the eyes are. It's maddening.
Anyway, we've established that that's part of why they're there. But also one character's like, hey, we're near that camp where all those kids got killed. I'm going to give you the exposition of the thing you just saw. Remember that swamp? That's where all those kids got killed. But then Jason came back and he finished the job. Anyway, we could drink piss. It's sterile.
Well, I like how the guy's like, oh, there's a lot of crystal lakes. I'm like, are there? Like, is that really
There are.
Are there?
I don't know. I wasn't watching Kurt Loder on September 11th, so I don't know how many crystal lakes there are in the country.
Ja Rule will tell you all about it. Just call him.
Yeah, let's get Ja Rule on the phone and see if he knows anything about it. Hey, Ja, what do you think about it? No, I don't want to come to Fire Festival 3.
Too.
Yeah, my page. You went there too. That's so funny. That's so funny. But this first cohort of people, like, there's no one to like, really. They're just like hiking the woods,
No.
talking about like going to find this weed stash.
They're like people I like in other things, like the
Yeah.
the douchey guy with the girlfriend that he just wants to take to the tent and screw. Like he's in Superstore. Have you ever watched that show?
Yeah, I mean, one of them is he was in Veronica Mars at the time. Like it's
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's like that kind of people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'll say this, I think everyone does a fine job at it acting wise. It's just like
They do with what they're given.
exactly.
One of them grew up to be on Sex Life, where his character was receiving roadhead while high on cocaine and then got in a car accident.
Oops.
And the escort he was with bit off his dick and then they sew it back on, but they make it bigger. And this is a story point.
Wow.
If this is a movie,
This is a series that has gone for 2 seasons on Netflix. Is it good? No.
sounds like it might be 2.5 seasons too long.
Which guy in Friday the 13th is that guy though? Is he one of the ones in the original crew?
He's in the first 30 minutes. It's the guy with the GPS that has the glow stick.
Oh yeah, he's also in Live Free or Die Hard. He's like a computer
Yes.
tech nerd guy in that. Yeah.
He worked a ton in this era because he's also
Mhm.
in She's the Man and a couple other things. He worked a ton and then he like didn't work as much. He did some TV or whatever. And now he's working a ton as an adult.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
So yeah, kind of good for him. Anyway, so 2 of them, a boyfriend and girlfriend, go off. This is the sister of Sam Winchester from Supernatural.
Yeah, her name is Whitney in the movie.
Whitney.
Yes.
We don't know that yet, though. That will come in later. But what we are finding out here is that she has a very sick mom, and she's the primary caretaker. And her mom wanted her to go on this trip to get a break.
Yeah.
And have some fun and be a teenager. And she seems like a generally sweet girl. Her boyfriend seems dumb, but
he seems nice enough, though.
yeah, he's not mean. He just stays too long in places that clearly be haunted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's the same name as the where a friend told a story about. That's weird.
Should we leave? No, let's hang out.
No.
Let's hang out.
No.
We're good, right? This is fine.
No. So they kind of go off. They're exploring they don't go in the camp. They go to the cabin next to the camp where Jason is kind of living, or at least that's the base of operations. His tunnels are right beneath it.
Right. Right beneath it.
Right beneath it.
Right near it. Hey.
It's near and also beneath it. Meanwhile, the other two start banging it out. And the one with the GPS and the glow sticks does make a comment where he's like, oh, weird. Like the data doesn't sync. Like there's not a signal. We're actually closer than I thought, which maybe lends some credence to our idea that Jason is setting up geocaches to lure teens.
I think he is.
I've never thought about this, but that actually does weirdly make more sense. And I don't know that I like it, but it makes sense.
Kind of like Firefly, where it's just got like corrugated metal. You know, like if you went underground when the Terminators are here, like that's what it looks like. So if they had a room that we just didn't see where he's just got a bank of computers and he's just like, yes.
I mean, it looks like if he walks further into the tunnel system, he's going to run into where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live with Splinter.
Right?
Like it's those size tunnels next to a lake, I will remind you.
I mean,
I'm still going with Gummy Bears, the quick tunnels. That's what it reminded me of.
I mean, he does move through them like they are quick tunnels, yes.
I wish he had like one of those sleds like the Gummy Bears had, and he's like gliding through it. It'd be awesome.
hear me out. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they're harvesting teens for pizza toppings.
That's like Five Nights at Freddy's or something is what that sounds like.
No, that's better than Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, agree, but I'm not disagreeing. That's not a good movie. Although if you ask my daughter, she would say the opposite. But yeah.
You know what it sounds like to me, guys? A solution to global warming.
That's right. We each got to eat 1 billion people.
It's too many people.
It would still taste better than Papa John's.
Oh,
Now we got to eat Papa John too? Great.
Then we would become racist. It would get in our blood.
they would infect you. Man, I would hate if racism infects you because you ate a racist. Because that'd be the first people I would target if we were going full cannibal. I'm gonna have to rethink my strategies.
I do like that. Speaking of lines, I love when he says, if you were dead and we were all stuck here and we were starving, I would eat your leg. He's like, why would you eat my leg? I'll teach you how to fish, man.
And he was like, I don't eat fish. And
that's me.
I'll say this. I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, I need a leg first.
Yes.
I don't like seafood, Jonathan. It's gross. It's not gross. It's a me problem, but I don't like it.
Well, and I don't want to take the time to have to gut the fish and do all that. That's too much work.
Right. You're already dead and there.
I like how we're not comparing apples to apples because we're comparing catching and cleaning and cooking a fish to eating a fully prepared leg that is your friend's leg. You're just walking around the campsite like you're at Disney or at a Ren fair.
He's not using it.
You should also start with the ass because there's more meat. That's what they said I think it's Alive.
Guys, we've only been recording 52 minutes and we are already at Jonathan talking about eating ass.
We're 52 minutes into the movie.
We're actually not far. We're about 30 minutes into the movie, just
crazy.
about to be. But yeah, this is my bean question at work where they were like, would you rather eat a bean-sized human or a human-sized bean? I was like, I don't like beans, bean-sized human. They're like, jelly bean was an option. Too late. Anyway. Oh no. But literally within 5 minutes, Jason dispatches with everyone. He kills Sister Christian out in the woods, who's looking at the weed with the glow stick.
Oh, God, I forgot he was listening to Sister Christian.
It's one of my favorite moments in the movie because, I struggle to not sing along to that song, too. And I get that he's in a horror movie, but I probably would have been singing along, too.
I just wish they had, cut to where it's from our perspective, if we were watching him, and so we wouldn't actually hear the music, so it's just him just singing.
That would be funny, yeah. I did like that when we find his, headphones later, his ear is still connected to it.
Yes.
Yes.
Loved it.
But before I started this movie today, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good. I don't think they're going to have a sleeping bag kill. Boy, was I wrong. Cut to the couple banging. And they keep getting very close to climax, completion.
Right.
The resolution of their copulation. And she keeps stopping to be like, I think there's someone outside. Go, like, I think your friend is watching. Go tell him to go away, whatever. And she sends him out of the tent with a boner to go, like, figure out who's outside.
Yeah, he thinks it's Wade, which is his friend. This is Richie, by the way.
Yeah, we don't learn names.
I mean, his girlfriend, whose name I can't remember either, sends him out to go, like, tell Wade to stop, like, peeping Tom on us, because that's what they're thinking. But Wade's already dead. Wade's been killed already.
Yes.
So, like, Richie walks over, sees that Wade has been killed, and his ear is now, like, on the pot leaf, I guess. And he's dead, and he starts yelling, and that's when his girlfriend gets killed. And then he runs back to camp, and that's when Whitney runs over, right? And Whitney and him sort of see each other, and then you see Jason run in this movie, I think, for the first time ever.
Maybe.
And, like, split Richie's head in half. It's actually, like, a really cool sequence.
Yes.
Because it's the first time I remember ever seeing him run.
But you've gotten ahead of us.
Oh, shit, my bad.
Yes. Because she sends him out. Jason pulls her out of the tent in her sleeping bag.
Yes.
And roasts her over the fire.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
We do get a sleeping bag kill.
We do.
We cut to the cabin where Jason has what? Teleported, because how did he get over there? They walked for a while to get there.
Well, this is when Chevy Chase was Jason.
Right.
And then later it's Steve Martin.
And then later Martin Short is Pamela Voorhees.
Oh, which honestly we should have seen coming. He's the shortest of the three.
Do they sing My Little Buttercup?
My Little Buttercup.
I love that we're making references to a movie that came out when we were children.
It's a classic.
Everyone listening is like, what is this movie? And listen, I'm not trying to find another way that Three Amigos connects to this universe.
Uh-huh.
But Paige, you were talking about the tunnels being proof that Jason is El Chapo. Who is the bad guy in?
That's El Guapo.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's El
you're saying that because he has an accent, like it's not the same? Okay, whatever, Paige. All right.
Are sleeping bags falling from the sky? Yes, El Chapo.
Exactly.
Best dummy drop in cinema.
Do I have a plethora?
A plethora.
Guys, if you haven't seen it, give yourself a treat and watch that movie.
I'm going to fill you with so much lead, you'll be using your dick for a pencil. What does that mean? I don't know.
Anyway, so they're in the cabin. They find the locket and they find a tub of question mark, but it's gross.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like it was just like dirty water and stuff. And they do find like the head, and that's what they drop in there. Like it's in the tub full of like water.
Yeah. Anyway, they freak out.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here. But no sooner do they figure that out that Jason just starts stabbing up from the floor, which I guess if there's a tunnel entrance closer to the camp, maybe I guess he ran through the tunnels.
I guess.
But
he also found a way to slam that door that was on the same floor they were on like seconds before this happened.
Yeah.
So Paige, no, it doesn't make sense. I think it was Steve Martin in a dress. But I do think that it is very funny that he is sort of, because he's below them and he can't see exactly where they are, he's playing like reverse Battleship, where he's like guessing where they are, and eventually he does strike the guy's foot and then ankle and then leg, and then he like grabs him through the stairs, which leads me to believe that he's floating on the floor beneath them because they're climbing up the stairs and he still can grab them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy, but it was kind of funny.
You sunk his battleship, as he just like drags him through the floor.
He does pull him down like Poseidon trying to settle a score.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you love a good horror movie marathon but hate waking up feeling like you survived a night in a haunted house, Miracle Made sheets might be for you. These sheets use silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, so they help keep your bed at the perfect temperature all night. No more waking up sweaty or freezing after a scary movie binge. Plus, Miracle Made sheets are self-cleaning and stop up to 99.7% of bacteria from growing, so your bed stays fresh and clean longer. Upgrade your sleep this year. Go to trymiracle.com/comfort to try Miracle Made sheets today. Whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo COMFORT at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%.
But this is where Whitney runs back to the campground. And this is at the same time that the other guy is running back to find his girlfriend, like sous videing in her sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And then dumps out, well done. Probably should have pulled it earlier.
Yeah, we done cooked out all the flavor, guys, is what we're worried about.
If you want that char, maybe, but you really should go low and slow.
I wonder if Jason ate her leg or if he just went fishing.
Does he need food or is he like just powered by hate?
Yeah, this is like our do vampires poop question.
Oh my God. I never thought about that.
My brain just froze when you said that. Because, like, of course they poop, and then you're like, wait, but they don't eat. They just drink.
They just drink, and it's blood. So if it goes right back into their bloodstream, would they, like, is anything going to their stomach?
Do they even pee, Paige?
If they do, it's probably blood. In True Blood, when they cry, it's blood.
Yes.
Of course it is.
I would think pee would be the same.
Pee would be the same. So maybe they're just, like, pushing out red velvet logs once or twice a day, and we just don't know about it.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Never eating red velvet cake again.
That's where you get blood pudding, guys.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're eating blood pudding? You mean vampire turds, you nerd?
We're going to say that to somebody. They're going to be like, the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean Pierce Brosnan did 9/11?
I like that that's the thing they take issue with, not that what they're eating is vampire turds. But
anyway, Whitney runs back. He very quickly kills the other guy, like just machete to the head. And
yeah,
I did like, just because I saw this in my notes before I get away from it, in the cabin, he has a collection of counselor whistles.
Yes, he does.
I thought that was hilarious.
It's close to where he keeps the locket with his mother's picture in it.
Yeah.
That looks like Whitney, I guess.
Yeah, that I guess.
I mean, the picture is old and very faded, so I could kind of see it.
So I guess we're supposed to think he starts to kill her and then he just stops at the last second because they obviously cut away.
It looks like he kills her. It really does, but at this point, we get the title card, and I just said, everyone is dead, and it's not even Act 1. Stupid me, because we start over.
Yeah, we get to meet a whole new crew of people.
About a month later, and we're at the outpost with a whole bunch of new teens, including Ryan from Party Down.
Yep, that's the guy from Veronica Mars.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Ryan Hansen, yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Hansen. I love that his name is Ryan Hansen, then on Party Down, his name was also Ryan.
Nice.
Easy to remember. But we mentioned him, was it on Romancing the Pod last week, where he had this one line in Party Down where he was like Shakespeare says, thou doth.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, there's no rest of the line. He is one of my favorites on Party Down.
Yeah, but on Veronica Mars, he's basically Trent.
Yeah, he is.
Like, that's his character.
Gross.
Yeah.
He's like the douchebag. He's funny, though.
Yeah, he's more funny than Trent. Trent is just straight up a douchebag, fail son, loser asshole. Whereas this guy on Veronica Mars is all of those things, but also like stupid funny.
Kind of charming in a weird way.
Yeah.
I find him hilarious in everything I see him in, to the point where I wish he was in more stuff. I would watch more stuff with him in it.
Yeah.
He was on The League for a while too.
He was,
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, all the teens stop at the convenience store. Obligatory. And this is where they run into Sam Winchester, who's like, have you seen this girl? Have you seen Sarah Connor? And they're like, no, we haven't. And the owner says we can't put up posters, which honestly made me think, and it would have been a way more interesting way to take it, but definitely a little more like House of a Thousand Corpses than Friday the 13th. If when the police showed up, that they were in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they like let Jason kill people and cover it up because they don't want people to think badly of Crystal Lake. The greater good. Crusty jugglers.
They kind of did something like that in that Texas Chainsaw with the one with Alexandra Daddario.
I didn't watch that one.
There is like a thing in there where you think the town is aware and they're not really doing anything about it. There's kind of a little thing there.
I did hear about that. Yes.
Not for nothing, but they kind of telegraphed that a little bit in this, because the old lady is like,
they do.
just leave him alone or whatever.
He likes to be left alone.
Yeah, they're not going out there because they don't want to get killed.
Right. Which, like, I get. I don't want to get killed either.
Yeah, but who's like building houses out there? Like, it's bizarre.
I assume that everyone that lives out there lived out there since.
Well, I was just mean like the lake house. Like that lake house it was probably built in the last 10 years or something. So
yeah, that lake house is clearly new. But Trent is a real fucking asshole to Sam Winchester. And he does leave a flyer on the back of his Escalade, which I thought was fun.
Yeah.
But he's an asshole for like no reason. Like, They're not in a rush. He's just asking the guy about the flyers. It sets him up as like, man, I hope that guy gets killed, and with the quickness.
I mean, unfortunately, he doesn't get killed quickly, but yeah, you do want him to.
Anyway, they all kind of roll out to their respective places. Winchester ends up on his motorcycle, and he gets pulled over by a cop, and the cop is basically like, we ain't looking for her. We stopped looking for her.
Yeah.
We didn't find any sign of them here. She probably ran away, which again, if the cops were covering it up, that would have been really interesting. But like,
it does seem like that cop is like, man, we tried our best, but she's not here. Go look elsewhere. The other families believe us and they're looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, we know the truth because it's called Crystal Lake and this is a Friday the 13th movie, but they don't know that.
We cut to the house where they have arrived. The other teens have arrived at the lake house. And I do love that the movie sets up kind of a running air quotes joke. It's not really funny. It's not really written well, but it's this idea that like everyone is making assumptions about the black character. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to start a label. And she was like, oh, rap. And he's like, no, you think black guys can't listen to Green Day? Which is a wild pull because Green Day is from where? Oakland. So yes, plenty of black guys listen to Green Day. And he's like, no, it's rap. Like it, yeah.
I did think that was like kind of a dick move on his part to be like, oh, because I'm black, it's got to be rap. And she's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I guess it could be anything. And she's like, well, but what is it, though? I'm sorry. And he's like, no, it's rap. Yeah. And he just like walks away. I was like, yeah, that's cold. Like, that's rough. Okay, cool.
I would like it better if it was played where he was deliberately making fun of the white people, if that makes sense.
Sure,
where if he's like, oh, like it's gotta be, oh, you know, whatever. And she's like, what is it? It's rap. Like he's doing it as a joke. It's not played that way.
Yeah.
And it makes it kind of a weird vibe every time it happens where you're like, are they racist? But then they never follow it up and they stop doing it halfway through the movie.
Right. I think they do it like 2 times.
Yeah, they don't even rule of threes it.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get inside the lake house. It's beautiful, but Trent is a real coasters on the table ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's very particular about the house, doesn't want anybody messing with it, whatever. Also, at this point, Ryan's character, or I guess Nolan is his character's name in the movie, is wearing a shirt that just says "fuck Christmas."
Yes, it is. Yeah.
For no reason. And I was like, why? What is happening?
Apparently, that man wants to have sex with the idea and concept of Christmas.
I mean,
That must be what it is.
that could be either he hates Christmas or he needs to remind himself to be intimate with Christmas. Either way, Christmas could do better. As the great Ron Funches once said.
That did have a Ron Funches quality for that delivery.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
Fuck Linda.
Yeah.
But we cut to Sam Winchester, which is how I have him in my notes the whole time. Clay, I think is his name in this movie.
I think
It
so.
is Clay. Yeah.
Boo, no fun. Anyway, he shows up at the barn that is now like a wood shop that has Chekhov's wood chipper in it.
Yeah, that's the barn from 2 or from 3. Sorry, the red barn from 3. Or at least it looks a lot like it.
Yeah.
Right. He shows up. He's like, have you seen this girl? He's like, nah, I wish I had, because this guy's going to be a real weirdo later.
Yeah, he tries to have sex with a mannequin or is about to.
It was weirder to me when he was licking the magazine.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, he's like, you want to buy some weed? I found a bunch of weed. And it's like, that's El Chapo's weed, and he's going to machete you to death.
And El Chapo gonna chop your face in half.
So now we know why Jason kills him. That's all that line of dialogue was. It was so dumb.
It was so dumb. It literally is Jason killing people for taking his weed.
Guys, have you not seen The Beach? Like, it's The Beach. We talked about this.
I wish Jason was the villain in The Beach. That would make that movie way more interesting.
Honestly, I just need someone to replace the shark in The Beach with Jason swimming. Like,
There's a shark in The Beach?
yeah, they kill a shark at the titular beach. They kill a shark and eat it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And listen, I'm saying if they killed Jason and ate him, it'd be one step towards global warming being less of a thing.
Yeah, you got it. I just want, and we haven't done it yet, but in Leprechaun 2, Back to the Hood, the leprechaun kills someone with a giant bong because there is a scene where they all smoke out with the leprechaun. And what I want is for Jason to be the one providing the weed for the leprechaun. To just be like, puff, puff, pass, motherfucker, let's go.
I, no joke, would love it if Jason became like the drug dealer for the like horror villain universe.
Yeah.
If Freddy was always just like having like pithy one-liners about his drug dealer and then it shows up and it's just like Jason.
Yeah.
Fuck, that'd be funny.
Freddy's gonna ganja, like he's gonna get you, but ganja.
You want some weed, bitch?
Yeah, you want weed? Pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side, bitch. Yeah.
If you just say bitch after it sounds like it belongs to Freddy. Like that's like the formula.
Or too short.
True.
It could be either one, and then we're
True.
back to Freaky Tales.
Yeah.
These are the tales that I know so well.
Exactly. Ryan, aka Nolan, and his girlfriend, whose name I don't remember.
It's Willa Ford.
That's who that. I was like, she looks familiar, and I can't.
She was like a pop star for a second, and then I guess she kind of became an actress.
Yeah. So not really, but like
Her name in the movie is Chelsea.
I think she's Australian.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
I thought she was from the U.S.
She might be.
They tried to make her a pop star in the model of like a Britney Spears or a Christina Aguilera, but Homegirl just didn't have the pipes. Like it was not. Like, not everyone can be a pop star, full stop. Even if you're an incredible singer, there's like a whole bunch that goes into of like charisma and like a look and like a spark. It's so much, right? And Willa Ford was one that they were like cramming down people's throats. And we were like, no, thank you.
Yeah, she is American. You are correct.
Yeah, she was born in Ruskin, Florida. I looked it up.
I'm getting her confused with maybe Kylie Minogue or somebody else.
Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
Kylie Minogue is great. Kylie Minogue is super famous everywhere but here.
Yes.
And here she is recently famous. That's kind of cool.
Well, she did. She had the Locomotion song back like in the early 90s, late 80s.
Way back in the 90s and then had nothing. And then she had Can't Get You Out of My Head right around this time. And then nothing. And then she's got a new album that's like hitting really big here now.
But she's like Robbie Williams. She's like the Robbie Williams. Yeah.
Let me entertain you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys want to maybe get back to the movie?
Anyway, Willa Ford tried to be in a bunch of movies and it's about as successful as this one. Anyway, they decide to go take the boat out. Although they lie. They say they're not going to take the boat out. They're just going to go for a drive and around the other side of the lake and wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It's because Travis tells them not to take the boat.
Trent,
whatever his name is. He's a douche.
I think the actor's name is Travis. That's kind of funny.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
I think it's like Travis Van Winkle or something like that. I don't know if that's right, but it's something like that.
It is. Oh my God. That's 100% right.
Anyway.
Crazy.
So they go to the other side of the lake. They do take the boat out. We will cut back to them momentarily. But Sam Winchester has now made his way to the lake house because it's the next house on the road or whatever. And he's going to ask them. Jenna answers the door and is like, hey, it's you. Come on in. And Trent is immediately like, fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of my fucking house. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. And you're like, wow, okay. Trent's the worst again.
I mean, this is exactly what I expected because when they ran into each other in the gas station and this guy was just like asking the attendant there if he could put a sign up, Travis or Trent or whatever his real and or fake name in this movie was like, come on, like nobody gives a shit about your dead sister. Can you just like fucking move? You've been jibber jabbing for like 30 minutes. He's like the biggest dick in the world.
We somehow in our screaming forgot that he went to a lady's house and she like answers the door and is like, he wants to be left alone.
Yeah.
Your sister's dead.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jenna wisely is like, yeah, I'll help you look. Fucking Trent. Fucking bastard.
I think she breaks up with Trent in this moment in her mind. Like, I think she is over it.
Yeah, because she ain't mad when Trent cheats later. She is not caring at all.
No, I think that she is happy to be with Supernatural, but she dies before she gets to reap the benefits.
Yeah.
I like when he comes down there, he's like, you've been fucking in the woods all day.
Yeah. After moments ago, he was 3.5 inches deep in that lady with great naturals. And like now he's down here yelling about cheating. What a douche.
Yep.
Anyway, so the dude with Chekhov's wood chipper goes to pick the weed and comes back to relax with some adult magazines and a discarded mannequin.
Yeah, and this is where he does lick the magazine.
After after asking if daddy can have a lick. And I was like, no.
And he's the second character to say daddy in that kind of context, because the first group of like young 20-somethings, one of them says that to his girlfriend, like about himself publicly. It made me feel very weird. I didn't like it at all.
It's awful. I never want to be called daddy by my better half or whatever.
No.
So gross.
I mean, I don't care what you guys like. I just don't want to be a part of you and your partner's bedroom talk, if that makes sense. So like,
Right.
to call each other whatever. I don't give a shit, but do it like where I can't hear you. Like, this guy's on his own. So he's like letting the freak flag fly. So that's fine. But like,
If you don't want to be involved in our bedroom talk, does this mean I have to make Jake stop calling me Todd?
that one I'm into.
I'm kidding. He doesn't do that. He calls me sir like he should. No, I'm kidding. It's mostly just Paige.
But I have a very gross question.
Sure.
That magazine isn't new, right?
No, probably not.
So what is he licking off of that magazine?
A snack he left for later.
That's probably where COVID started. It's probably in that barn.
I don't know. It probably was more like Cumvid, but yeah, I think it was something.
He was patient zero.
Yeah.
I think my dad was patient zero. He was on a business trip to China like right before it happened, and he got his ears cleaned on the street. And I was like, this is your fault.
Did he get it cleaned while eating a bat? Like, I don't think it was your dad.
But I'm just in the middle of the street. Like, I don't know. And I'm like,
You think where he was standing in the street makes him patient zero?
I think sometimes you let people dig around in your ears, you might not like what they find.
Paige.
Maybe a bat.
All I'm thinking right now is that's the tagline for whatever the accountant version of the person who checks your ears like action movie is. If you let people go digging in your ears, you might be afraid of what they find.
I think it should be the secondary tagline for Wrath of Khan.
Is that a speciesist joke?
Todd's never seen it. Jonathan?
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about with the
You
ear.
know
It's
what I'm
very,
talking
yeah,
about.
it gave me nightmares when I was a child.
Are we talking like Ferengis? What are we talking here?
No.
No, something being put in your ear.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm out.
Yeah, early in Wrath of Khan, they put these things in our bodies. It's like a little worm that they put in somebody's ear.
And it kind of like controls you, basically.
I'm good.
Anyway, Jason shows up and kills this guy, slits his throat for taking his weed, just like El Chapo would do.
Yeah.
But this is where he finds the hockey mask, and he's like, this is a lot better than just wrapping my head in a shroud of sorts. And so he puts the hockey mask on.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that, but that he just got like bandages, right? Like it's...
Yeah, do you think it's because this is supposed to be a direct sequel to 1 and he doesn't get the mask until, is it 3?
3.
Yeah,
It's got to be that, right?
I think it has to be.
They
Yeah.
have to have a reason for him to have it before he canonically got it in 3, if it takes place right after 1.
Yeah.
Right. But we cut to Clay and Jenna. They find the GPS that the other guy dropped near the weed. And he's kind of giving her the background of like, my sister and I had kind of a fight. We hadn't talked, but then she didn't show up for my mom's funeral. And I was like, what's going on? And they're kind of just gathering clues as they go. And they walk into Camp Crystal Lake. Meanwhile, Nolan and Chelsea are topless wakeboarding.
Well, only one of them is topless wakeboarding. I do think it's funny that it cuts from them like in the car talking about, I wouldn't even wanted to drive the boat if like he didn't say we couldn't drive the boat. And then the next time it cuts to them, they're not just driving the boat, they're like doing it to wakeboard, and then one of them is topless. It's very funny to me. They're just like yes-anding themselves until they're going to end up robbing a bank or like in this case getting killed by Jason.
Honestly, sad they got killed by Jason. Would have loved to eventually seen the documentary about their crimes.
Oh, same.
She didn't get complimented on her nipple placement, though, which was unfortunate.
Well,
It's fine.
yeah.
It was totally fine.
That's because this dude isn't as classy as Travis or Trent or whatever.
Trent, I did text Todd that one of, and I'm not going to say who because I don't want this particular woman to feel bad. One of the sets of boobs, of the many we see in this movie, is the worst boob job I've seen in a long time.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I like that Jonathan was like, yeah, I clocked him.
And it's clearly a mix of two things. One, the plastic surgery industry has gotten way better at boob jobs in the interim,
For sure.
where they look a lot more natural now than they used to.
Yeah.
And at the time, there was a lot of pressure to get them. What a bummer.
It's a boober page. They're not, the bummer was the Brazilian butt lift. That came later. It's much more like dangerous though.
I mean, if you get it done wrong, yes. And then they had clearly been tanning a lot. And the mix of those two things, I was watching this with my husband and I was like, oh, those are gnarly. And he turned and was like, yikes. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard say that.
Really? Oh, wow. I feel bad because but it was jarring. I was like, oh, like
I would have gotten over it.
I did. I feel like anyone would.
She's a very beautiful woman.
I fully didn't notice. At the end of the movie, I was like, I wonder what set she was talking about.
Todd, I almost want you to go back and take a look.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, you should be. I feel like that's just one of those things where I would have to like guard my face for a moment. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen ones that are like wild where like one nipple is like staring off in a completely different direction. But like there's some messed up plastic surgery from this era and you're just like, oof magoof.
Boobs, man, they're like pizza. It's like, I love it. It's fine. It's great.
Here's the thing, Todd. I think you say that because most of the ones you're encountering are now. And the ones now look incredible. But these ones back in the day, because this is also like when I was in a sorority and stuff and was privy to a lot of boob jobs, they also don't feel great. That we used to call them bolt-ons.
It wasn't just you who called them that, my friend.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not the one. She's topless wakeboarding. She looks fine. Her nipple placement seems fine, I would say. Good even. We cut back to the lake house where they're playing beer pong and Trent is already cozied up to that other girl.
Yeah, he's all up on Brie.
Yeah, he's all up on Brie. He's not worried about Jenna being gone at all. And he's really bad at beer pong. And so they're going to try and make him drink out of a shoe.
Gross.
I don't care if it's my shoe or was it T-Pain's shoe that Mikey saw somebody drink out of? I don't care. I'm not drinking out of anybody's shoes.
Nope.
I would rather drink out of my shoe than anyone else's shoe.
Nope.
But still don't want to drink out of my shoe.
I know how gross both your and my feet are. I ain't drinking out of my own shoe either.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, gun to your head, you got to drink out of somebody's shoe. I'm going to stick with the soul I know. You know what I'm saying?
I might pick somebody else depending on who's there.
Paige is like, are you kidding me with these hooves?
Yeah, I got retail feet, man. If there's like a supermodel with nice feet, I'll drink out of her shoe.
Hey, where's Cinderella's slipper? I'm drinking out of that shit. She wore it for like 30 minutes and then lost it.
Yeah, like my wife takes really good care of hers. I drink out of hers.
I'm on a foot repair journey. I did my hand repair because retail will wreck your hands too. And I feel like I've gotten my hands to the place where I want them. And now I have to work on my feet.
I wish you luck in your horseshoeing journey.
But this dude drinks out of his own shoe. It's gross.
He does. When he doesn't have to.
Yeah. Unforced error.
Yeah. Like whoever, like it's the Travis or Trent guy, whatever. He's the one that lost. He's the one that's supposed to drink. If he doesn't drink, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You won, sir. Put your shoe down.
Yeah, but Chewy is all about the shock value. He's the crazy guy.
Yeah, it feels very 2009 to me.
Yes. We cut back to the boat where Nolan/Ryan is immediately shot through the head with an arrow.
Which, okay, when you guys saw this, were you like, oh my God, who's working with Jason? Because I never would have guessed Jason was like a master level archer.
Well, he probably practiced on that range at the camp.
I'm not saying he hasn't had plenty of time to practice, yes, but we never see that. It's the first time in the series he's shot anybody with anything.
That's true.
My favorite is that he's shooting recurve. Like he's shooting like a nice modern bow, which means that at some point, Jason rolled up to like a fucking Bass Pro Shops.
Traded some weed for a bow and arrow.
That's what it was right there for sure.
Anyway, he shoots the guy. She falls off the wakeboard. He shoots the guy driving the boat and she's like, hey, pick me up because she doesn't know. And the boat runs over her.
All right, guys, I have a terrible pitch.
Great.
In the new Rambo movie, he's like, hey, you got to meet my weed guy. And it's Jason. And Rambo's the guy who taught Jason how to shoot a bow.
You got to meet my weed guy. I do a terrible Stallone.
It's better than my Stallone.
Oh, yeah. My Stallone's just like,
honestly, that's spot on, guys. With us in studio, Stallone, the Italian stallion.
Expendables himself.
I'm still, because I know the last time we did Friday the 13th, we talked about the Rocky films. Still trying to get Todd to watch the Creed movies now that he has loved Sinners so much.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Creed movies, especially Creed 2.
Creed 2 is fucking incredible. Anyway, she is now in the water. She sees that Jason shot her. So she tries to swim away. She makes it to under the dock. He walks over her and then stabs down into the dock. And I do love that it like lifts her body out of the water and then he like uses the dock to get her off the knife.
So I'd like that too, but it's very much just to show you her boobs again.
Yep.
Which is creepy.
It is kind of creepy. So you feel like, oh, and now I'm also a perv? Great. Okay. But it is like kind of a cool effect and shot because it is just so graphic and like she goes dead weight and then
Yes.
he like slides her off by pulling the machete back through the dock. It's crazy.
Yep. Now we cut to nighttime back at Camp Crystal Lake. At this point, they've made it through all the cabins. Nothing's really happened. They're going to change the batteries out in his flashlight, but they hear someone coming. And it is Jason carrying her body back.
Yeah.
Why? Who's to say?
Her headless body back, right?
Yeah, why'd he cut her head off?
Because his mother's head got cut off. Like, I actually kind of understand why her head is cut off, and I kind of can guess what he's about to do to that.
Yeah.
He's about to turkey base that.
I think he's a boobs man. He doesn't care about the head. He's just like...
He's like, this nipple placement is great. I must preserve it.
He's like, you know what? Travis was right. This nipple placement is perfect.
He just like lifts the hockey mask and he's like, there's a shortage of perfect breasts in this world.
Carrie Ellis, what are you doing here?
And that girl earlier, man, hers were horrible. I just had to roast her, but...
I just had to... Carrie Elwes. That's almost like the craziest Scooby-Doo episode ever.
Yeah.
Is like, and as Jason, Carrie Elwes. Anyway, they hide from Jason. He dumps that body down and they're like, oh shit, that's a body. But they see his backpack.
Yeah.
And Jason goes looking for like where they are. And they manage to avoid him. He's like throwing canoes and stuff. But he picks the body in the backpack up and leaves. And at this point, Jenna's like, I gotta go warn my fucking friends. And as they run back, she trips a booby trap system, I think meant to alert Jason that people are walking around.
Probably.
Yep.
But what this actually alerts is Whitney down below, because it turns out she's fucking alive. They reveal this when? Over an hour into the fucking movie. Are we going to come back to it again? No, not until the very end.
Is that the first time we see her again? That's the first time we see
Yes.
her? Okay.
It's the first time we see her again.
Yeah.
And Jason brings the body and throws the backpack at her. She finds out it's her brother's backpack and is like, oh my God, he's looking for me. And within it, she finds the GPS locator. She pulls it apart, uses the wires to try and break out of her restraints.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. But we see Jason go to attack her and she kind of like, she still has the locket on. And she's like, Jason, no, it's okay. And Jason like calms down. So like she has the power to calm him like the mother did.
Right.
Yeah.
We cut back to the lake house where all of these like young college age people are drinking bottles of wine.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You
They're
know-
drinking something.
Like kids do.
Yeah, that was my, it's like she's got champagne. I kind of understand champagne. But then Chewie has just like a bottle of Merlot. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening here?
I think I was at least in my 20s before I was drinking wine, like late 20s.
I will say in college, there was a thing for a while where people were mixing wine and Coke.
Yes.
Coca-Cola, not cocaine.
Now, I would say outside of like Boone's Farm or something, like I definitely drink that, but that's not wine.
Yeah, but just wine? No, not until like my mid to late 20s.
God, wine and Coke, that sounds awful.
It is.
Oh,
It's bad. Don't recommend it all.
that's like people would do like vodka and Gatorade, and that was nasty.
Oh, vodka and Gatorade was huge, or vodka Red Bull came about when I was in college.
Nah, I didn't like that either. That tasted like medicine to me. I was just like, ugh.
It tastes a little rough, and then I went to college in the era of the original Four Loko.
Oh God, yeah, I'm a little older. I missed out on Four Loko.
I don't drink.
Huh?
I'm no help. I'm sorry. I don't drink.
I don't anymore, but
Yeah, same.
I did back then.
Yeah, I pick my spots. I drink maybe 4 times a year. One of them is Panic Fest.
Yeah, I see it every year.
There you go.
From my perspective, Paige has a problem.
I don't, because I don't have the tolerance that I used to have. So I'll have maybe like 2 drinks and I'm like, I'm really tying it on.
Yeah. You literally are like 1 or 2 drinks and you're good.
I'm good.
It's just every time we're together, you have a drink because it's Panic Fest.
That's awesome though, because you don't have to spend that much money.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, and I will never forget, because one Panic Fest, we did karaoke until we closed a bar down. And then we went to a dance club.
Yes.
But I had hit my like 2 drinks hours ago. And Todd was high as hell. Mondo had abandoned us earlier into the night. And Mikey kept drinking the whole time. So at a certain point, I was like, I'll drive. And Todd's like, are you okay to drive? And I was like, I am the most okay. Like, I sobered up hours ago.
She pulled out like the Uno reverse card. I was like, are you okay to drive? And she's like, are you okay to drive?
Are you okay to question this?
And I was like,
No.
No, I am not.
I was like, I'm very okay. I've been drinking Diet Coke for hours.
Yeah.
So they're all drinking wine. Bree is dancing around. This is where she tricks Chewie into doing the fire shot. He tumbles over. He breaks the chair. That's why he has to go to the tool shed. It's real roundabout.
Yeah.
He does find the liquor cabinet in the tool shed and takes a couple glugs of extremely expensive scotch that you definitely shouldn't just be storing in a tool shed where it's subject to wild fluctuations in temperature.
Yeah.
But whatever. He wanders through this tool shed just like playing with shit for like 10 minutes.
It takes forever.
Or at least it feels that long. It takes forever. Ridiculous.
Not much happens though, because it's just like, oh, is Jason there? Is Jason there? Where's Jason gonna pop? Oh, there he is. Okay, now he's dead.
I want to point out, they left, triggered the booby trap. They were headed for the house. Somehow, Jason beats them to the house by like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got tunnels, Paige.
Yeah.
He's practically a gummy bear. He bounces here and there and everywhere.
Anyway, they're missing the people from the boat, and they're like, they haven't been back in hours. Chewie goes out there. No one's seen him. Bree and Trent go upstairs, and they're just fucking.
Yeah.
They're filming it at one point, but then casting it to the TV so he could see himself, which was wild.
Trent's a really self-absorbed guy.
Yeah, he's pulling a Patrick Bateman. I'm just like,
Yeah, he is.
I do love that he calls her tits stupendous.
He does.
And they are the great tits.
I wonder if he ad-libbed that, though. I hope he did.
I hope so. That'd be great. But their friend downstairs, who has had fuck all to do in this movie,
Right.
pulls out the bong, gets stoned, and then is going to jerk it to a clothing catalog. Now, my stonerage is brief and infrequent. It's not my favorite thing to do. I was always more of a drinker. Never once has it made me horny. Is that a thing that makes people horny?
What, weed?
Yeah, do people get horny on weed?
I don't think it's the weed necessarily made him horny. He's just a...
Yeah, I don't think it's the weed necessarily, but...
No, I'm sure he's just horny in general.
No, weed's not like ecstasy.
Yeah, I'm like...
Not that I know about ecstasy.
Or weed, even.
Or weed. What are drugs?
Ooh. But like, I would never be like, I'm going to take myself on a date, but first... like, let me light up this J. That's just never been a thing.
I like that you called him grabbing a Sears catalog, taking himself for a date.
That was weird too. Like you have to have a better imagination than a Sears catalog.
Yes.
Like I don't know why you need anything at that point. Like I don't think the Sears catalog's gonna work.
Yeah,
It's 2009. Like there's better things.
Yeah, but he gets interrupted immediately because the other two get back.
Yeah.
And now Jason is already here. Jason has already made it to the tool shed. Jason is watching the other two have sex through the window and then has like disappeared. Jason's on the floor. Jason's on the roof. Jason everywhere. So like the wind, very old ones.
Then he's in the
He is
house.
the three amigos. Yeah.
I thought for a second that was a Dr. Seuss like telling of Jason. But he is all over the place.
Yeah. Would you machete in a boat? Would you machete with a goat?
Someone's throat. Sorry.
Someone's throat. Anyway, Clay and Jenna show up and they're like, call the cops. There's a fucking murderer. This is bad. And then the other guy's like, no, my friend's out in the tool shed. I'm going to go help. And you're like, no. Like Gene Wilder in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. No, stop, don't. He leaves. He then wanders through the fucking same ass fucking tool shed for another 10 fucking minutes or whatever, to the point where I'm like, there's only 16 minutes left in this movie and we're just watching this guy wander. Like
You're like Alan Ruck in Speed. I've already been to the airport.
Yeah, exactly. So we then cut to he like checks the fridge for fridge Jason. He's not there. He finds Jason. He like fights him. He runs out, but Jason gets an axe, throws it, catches him.
Yeah.
This is where they're like, he's using him as bait, but then he immediately kills him. And then seconds, and I do mean seconds later, while they are watching out the window, Jason is on the roof. How?
He just floated up there.
Portal gun.
It's like Couching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Crouching tiger, hidden Jason.
So at this point, Trent's like, oh, my private school ass don't play. He goes upstairs and gets a fucking gun. Bree follows and is like in one of the bathrooms looking at the shower, looking at the closet, Jason's behind her. She dead. He impales her on antlers.
Yeah.
That's a visual part that I actually kind of dig, where she opens the shower curtain, because we see from the shower's perspective. So when she opens the shower curtain, all of a sudden we see him behind her.
Yes.
I thought that was a pretty good visual idea.
Yeah. They actually have a lot of really cool, like, he's behind them moments, but it's just, that's so much of what happens.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people open closet doors and shower curtains, because what are you going to do if there's somebody standing there?
You just run into the house lighting matches on your way out.
Wait, why are you lighting matches?
Because I'm going to burn this fucker down and Jason's in it. Are you serious? I'm not going to like poke around trying to find his exact location. I'm just going to nuke the shit from orbit.
Okay, gotcha. Just watching Todd running around.
Natalie won't let me have open box matches. She will not.
I can see why.
My favorite version was in Hard Eyes, where she opens the closet, the killer's there, and she just goes, and throws a dildo at it and runs. Like, shuts the closet and runs.
Yeah.
I like in the 2018 Halloween where she keeps trying to shut the door and it won't shut because he's just standing there, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, as that's happening, so as Jason is in the house killing someone upstairs, the cops arrive and they answer the door downstairs, where the cop is then murdered from outside the house.
Yes.
Where is Jason?
Jason is everywhere, guys.
Does he jump down in that moment?
He must have. Or teleported.
The jump down is later. They do not tell us how this one happened.
I just watched this afternoon and I'm still having trouble, like, remembering.
I mean, what is there to remember? Not much. Anyway, this is where they're like walking around the house with the gun.
Yeah.
And Trent is trigger happy. But I love that Clay is like, you've got a gun? Let's fucking leave, man. Like, let's go. You've got a gun. Like, shoot him. Let's go. They run out into the front of the house. This is where he jumps down.
That's right.
Because he can't find the keys for the bike. He's trying to get on the radio to the cops, trying to start the cop car. None of it can happen. He jumps down. They take off into the woods. He drops the gun as he's running, and then just keeps running to the road where he almost gets hit by a truck.
Yeah.
But the truck like stops and waves him over. And for a hot second, you're like, is Jason in the truck? Because anything seems possible at this point.
Yeah, who acts like that? Who just sticks their hand out and is like, come on.
Come on. Doesn't talk to him at all. But the car starts to pull away because the car sees Jason in the rear view.
Yeah.
And so Jason just impales him on a pole on the back of the truck.
Well, the driver sees Jason. This isn't all of a sudden Pixar's Cars. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be amazing, though.
If it was...
Is that Mater?
Mater.
Yeah, if it was Mater, yeah.
More like murder. And then...
Oh my God. Can you imagine like a person getting impaled like in Pixar's Cars on the back of Mater?
Honestly, all I'm thinking of is like a Cars Universe support group, but for the truck that was carrying the logs from Final Destination. Like, just he's trying to deal with the accident he caused and he just can't handle it.
Trauma.
Yeah.
So he sends that truck going off to potentially frame that man for murder. Because whenever he stops that truck, they're going to be like, where'd you get this body? But back in Jason's house, they have now run through the woods back to the house. And Whitney can hear the footsteps, so she screams. They dig up through the floor. They find the underground tunnel. So now they find Whitney, and they're trying to free her. But Jason has already walked back into the tunnels. They do get her free. They run. They go to climb out through like a little tunnel.
Yeah.
And Jenna is last. He snags Jenna with a hook. She dead.
Yeah.
That's it. Unceremoniously.
Which is surprising. But then you realize that Whitney's the final girl. It's not Jenna's story.
Whitney's the final girl that we only spent 2 scenes with.
Right.
It's written bad is what I'm saying.
It really is like the final family because it's, the siblings survive.
Yeah, it's her and Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as they climb out through this tunnel, they end up in a school bus on the side of the road. They climb out and Clay gets out. He's trying to help Whitney out, but Jason's hot on their trail, somehow out of the tunnels and beating them there, and smashes Clay's head through a couple windows. We think he's dead.
Yeah.
He's not. But now, Final Girl's going to have to fight Jason on her own. He tries to drag her back into the tunnel. She kicks him. Clay is still alive. He grabs her. They run into the barn to hide, and they kind of gang up on Jason. Clay stabs him.
Yeah.
They choke him with a chain. The chain pulls into the wood chipper, but they refuse to wood chipper this fool's body.
I was so mad they even
it's so
set
weird.
up the wood chipper and the fact that the chain pulled him through it, not through it, but pulled him up to it, but stopped and didn't pull him. Come on.
And then they stab him. And I'm like, fuck y'all. Wood chipper his head. Chipper that head. Chipper that head.
Paige, I agree fully. Chipper that head, make the shirt, let's wear it.
Yes.
But I really loved that this movie has a final line moment like Ghost, because she says, "Hey Jason, say hello to your mom for me," and then stabs him and then waits like 3 seconds and then goes, "In hell." And it's like when Patrick Swayze is like going to heaven at the end of Ghost. He's like,
the love.
you take it with you.
The locket. You take it with you.
Yeah, it's it's just like such a weird goodbye moment. It's like the same thing, but for death here. It's wild.
I do love that they get him in the back of the bear trap. That's pretty fun.
That is pretty cool.
But they take his unwood chippered body, cowards, out to the dock. And they dump him into the lake with his mask.
Just like Osama Gator Laden.
Just like Osama. And then they drop the locket in with him. And then just like the end of, is it part 1 or 2 where he jumps up?
Wait, I forgot she dropped the locket like it was a big
like Titanic.
necklace from Titanic. Someone get me a pan flute solo.
Where Jason jumps out of the water, it's part 3. It's part 3 because they do like the reverse on part 1 where the mom jumps out, or where he jumps out as a kid. Oh, the mom jumps out in part 3. So yeah, Jason jumps out in part 1.
Yeah, Jason jumps out in part 1. It's very similar where he jumps through the dock and grabs her.
Yes.
And that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what did you guys think about Friday the 13th, but the one from 2009? Don't be stupid and talk about like the first one, because no one would make that mistake ever.
Yeah, who would start watching that instead?
That one's better than this one.
Oh, it's way better.
But what did you guys think about this one?
I don't ever need to watch this again.
No.
There were parts about it I liked. Those parts were few and far between, though.
I think it's, like I said, I think it's very competently made. I think they've got like a much more high profile cast than they've ever had for the most part.
Probably. I just think that maybe I'm so spoiled because a lot of the horror movies that are out and do well now have like the scary moments that this movie was trying to go for, but also has like an emotional core to it. And there's like story built in, and this just doesn't have a lot of that, if that makes sense.
I think at least I think a lot of people that enjoy the Friday the 13th movies enjoy them because of their lack of competency and how they're just crazy and weird and, fun and campy, and like this just tries to be way too serious and it just ends up being kind of dull. And there's so much plot.
I do think the sweet spot is a little campy.
Yeah.
I think it needs to have a little camp for it to work right.
Yeah.
There's so much plot, but so little plot because nothing fucking happens.
I guess maybe plot's the wrong word. There's so much setup. They have to they take so long to just set everything in motion.
Yeah.
And by the time it gets going, there's not that much time even left.
Accurate, yeah. But Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
Yes.
Well, here it is with your fun facts.
Friday
Jason,
the 13th fun facts. So the sheriff, Richard Burgi, was not cast as the sheriff until 12 hours before they needed to film his character scenes.
What?
Likewise, Willa Ford only had 10 days to learn how to wakeboard for her role. She said wakeboarding itself wasn't that bad. It wasn't hard. It wasn't nerve-wracking, but doing it topless was.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like half naked.
Yeah, there are hints to the first 4 Friday the 13th movies, including there is a wheelchair
Oh my God.
to reference, the character of Mark,
I forgot about the wheelchair.
who is killed in part 2.
Yeah.
And then Mrs. Voorhees' sweater is there too.
Yeah.
And then Ralph's bicycle.
Yeah.
So there's a few things scattered.
Yeah. And we get all that as Clay's walking from set to set.
I wish they had done a Crazy Ralph. That would have been good.
That would have been great. Adrienne King, who was in the original 1980 film, was approached by the producers to be in this one as a cameo.
Huh.
And then a few days later, they called her back and told her they didn't want anyone from the original film to be in the remake.
Oh.
And they did keep calling it a remake. However,
It's not really, right? It's like a continuation after the first one. That's what it seems like, at least.
Victor Miller, who was the screenwriter of the original, said the script was written in such a way that it could be deemed a sequel as opposed to a remake because they would pay him less for a sequel. This explains why the plot of the film is more of an amalgamation of the first 4 films as opposed to a true remake.
Huh.
He took legal action because he felt like the script they showed him was more of a remake, but the story he came up with was condensed into the first few minutes of the film, so he lost that legal battle and was paid less. However, later in the marketing process, they advertised it as a remake, but by then he was kind of too exhausted to try and sue them again.
That kind of sucks.
It does suck, honestly.
That dude, that dude probably is exhausted from being in court.
Yeah,
all the stuff
right?
they've had to deal with, him and Sean Cunningham over the last several years, which is partly why we don't have another Friday the 13th movie.
Right, yeah. Including the 2009 remake, which is what people say. It's not a remake necessarily. Like, it's a similar story. It's not the same. It's definitely more of a sequel, but if you're going to call it a remake, pay the guy like it's a remake.
Right.
Anyway, but including this movie, Jason has killed around 200 people throughout the franchise.
That's why we had to
Wow.
bury him like we did.
There you go. So according to the co-writer, Damian Shannon, the character of Jason was re-envisioned as a more territorial, like a hunter killer, someone who doesn't kill people at random, but is defending their territory from anyone invading it and their weed, like El Chapo. But the director agrees and says that this film shows new aspects to Jason's personality, and it's a portrayal of Jason as a survivalist, and that's partially inspired by the character of Rambo in First Blood.
Wow. So did I call it with the bow and arrow shit or not? Wow. Okay, cool.
You did.
Nailed it.
Now, Supernatural had already been on TV for 4 years when this happened. So Jared Padalecki was on hiatus, and that's when he filmed this film. Now, interestingly enough, his co-star Jensen Ackles was also on hiatus and also starred in a remake of an 80s slasher film.
Oh, yeah.
With Jared doing Friday the 13th and Jensen doing My Bloody Valentine,
Which is better.
which is way better.
Yeah.
Producer Michael Bay allegedly walked out of the movie premiere stating that the movie featured too much sex.
I mean, it is a lot.
It's not any more than any other one.
You said Michael Bay walked out?
He probably had some research to do on the Romeo and Juliet law while he was writing a script for Transformers, while he was highbrowing the amount of sex in this movie.
Yeah, but he had to go think about sexualizing Megan Fox.
Yeah, not only sexualizing Megan Fox, but then being a dick to her when she was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. Ass.
Yeah.
Anyway, this film was released on Friday the 13th, 2009.
Nice.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And Clay and Whitney's last name is Miller, a reference to Victor Miller, the original screenwriter.
Okay.
So originally in the sex scene, Bree was supposed to set Juliana Guile, I think was her name, was supposed to set up her camcorder at the edge of the bed to film the sex scene. However, before filming, she suggested that she hold the camcorder to make it more zany and racy, and that's what they did.
Nice.
Derek Mears is the 9th actor to portray the adult Jason Voorhees, following Steve Dash, Warrington Gillette, Richard Brooker, Ted White, CJ Graham, Tom Morga, Kane Hodder of autobiography fame.
Yeah.
Right. The very self-centered Kane Hodder, which, to be clear, is a joke. We don't think that. But
That's a joke.
yeah.
As of this movie, Hodder's the only actor to have portrayed the character more than once with 4 films under his belt.
Mears is fine. I mean, I'll give him that.
I think he does a fine job in this. Yeah.
He's Jason, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he's wearing the mask and swinging this machete.
He's teleporting well.
Yeah.
And given Michael Bay's reaction, I'll end on this fun fact. There are many more, but time. According to the producers, test audiences felt that there was too much sex and nudity, so they cut back multiple scenes for the theatrical version. How much sex was in this before?
I think they shot a porn and were like, oh, damn, we should figure out the movie part of this.
It's like part 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where wasn't the guy who directed part 5 a porn director?
Yeah, Danny Steiner. He had directed porn before that. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I will say, just because there's not as much sexual stuff in movies today,
Boo.
it did seem a little shocking, just because I was like, oh, I haven't seen a movie with this much since the early 90s, but that just has more to do with how
sensibilities change over time.
Yeah. And how vanilla a lot of mainstream cinema is now versus then.
Honestly, I'm just glad Sinners is bringing it back.
There you go.
Yeah, Sinners was very sexual.
Sinners horny as hell.
Yeah.
Love it. And they did it with almost no nudity at all.
Yeah.
And it's sexy as hell.
Which is even more impressive.
So good. Anyway, those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Friday the 13th from 2009 when it came out in 2009?
25 million.
Paige, you want to guess?
I'm going to guess that they probably lowballed this to try and keep them quick and dirty and say 9 million.
You guys are on either side of it. It was $17 million, although with inflation, Jonathan, it was $25.4 million. But again, that's if you adjust the 17 to what it would be today's dollars. But great guess. Yeah. Okay. But you did mention this. It did make money. So let's talk about how much it made. And Paige was right. It did come out February 13th, 2009. It was number 1 the weekend it came out.
Yeah. It had a huge opening weekend of it was 40 something million, I think, opening weekend. But then I remember it became the highest grossing opening weekend of a movie to not make 100 million or to not make 70 million. It was something crazy like that. So I think it made in the 60s.
Yeah.
Jonathan is absolutely right. And I can give you the specific figures because his were ballparks. But yeah, he's absolutely right. So in its opening weekend, it was number 1. It did bring in 40 million. It's 40.5 technically million dollars.
I saw 42.5 a couple places, but yes. Yeah.
That might be a worldwide combined.
Oh, no. Opening weekend domestic, I saw 42.5 quite a few places.
I'm looking at it right now. It says 40.5. I don't know where you're looking, but I'm looking on thenumbers.com. I don't know. There are various other sites you could find this information, and they might be different there. But it was in theaters at the same time of the second place movie that was He's Just Not Into You. Number 3 was Taken. Number 4 was Confessions of a Shopaholic. And number 5 was Coraline. And again, that was the weekend of February 13th, 2009. But, and Jonathan, you alluded to this, in the next weekend, Friday the 13th went from the number 1 movie to the number 6 movie. It had an 80% drop.
That is brutal.
Week over week. And it didn't even bring in $8 million. It was right under $8 million in its second week. It was $7.9 million. But
yeah, I think it made easily the least amount of money total for a movie that opened with 40 million or more.
I mean, yeah. So it was in theaters for a total of 10 weeks. It made 40 in its first week and didn't make 60. Well, it made right at $65 million.
If you make 40 million opening weekend, you're probably at least making 100 to 125 million. And that's on the low end.
That's what Sinners made opening weekend was somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, but they did it consecutive weekends and yeah.
Oh yeah, Sinners had a crazy run where that was word of mouth, which is awesome. That doesn't happen that much anymore.
It doesn't.
Yeah, Sinners only dropped 8% or something in its second weekend.
Yeah, I was going to look that up. And we just did that episode last night.
Yeah.
But here was, its first week was $48 million, right at $48 million. Its percentage drop from first week to second week was 5%.
Oh, 5%. So I was over.
That's almost impossible.
I know. But this movie was 80%. So it fell very, very hard. Down the charts.
Even for a horror movie, that's insane.
It's pretty bad.
Because horror movies tend to be front loaded, so that's not that weird, but 80% is a lot.
Yeah, it is. But so it fell from first to sixth in its second week. In its third week, it dropped to 11th. and it was never again in the top 10. So it was only in the top 10 for the first 2 weeks. And it was in again for 10 weeks total. But it made $65 million domestically, but it also made $27.6 internationally. So it made a total of $92.6 million. But yeah, that definitely made money, but we haven't seen a movie since then, which honestly, I'm sure it has to do with other reasons.
Yeah, it's the legal battle.
Oh, there's legal reasons. But
Yeah.
did you have anything? Because they were going to do a sequel.
They were.
It was like going to be set in the winter, right?
I didn't find much about what was actually going
Okay.
to be in the sequel. It seems like it fell apart before those plans got to be more concrete.
Yeah.
But they were going to have the guy who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel do the sequel
Yes.
for this. And then it fell apart almost immediately.
And then eventually Paramount got the rights back to it for some reason. And then they were going to do a 3D one. And then they were going to do a found footage one. And then I think all the legal stuff started happening. And then it was just like, here we go. So,
Yeah.
and now they're doing a TV show.
I'm actually excited for the TV show. It looks good.
I'm curious to see it.
Since this is our last of the series of Friday the 13th that we've been doing, let me give you the box office order at which they fall, if that's okay.
Okay.
So, Freddy vs. Jason made the most in the box office run. It made $114.5 million. This movie is number 2. So, the Friday the 13th from 2009 made $92.6 million, as we just said. Friday the 13th, the original one, is next, and it made $59.7 million. Part 3 comes in 4th at $36.6 million. Part 4 comes in 5th with $32.9, and then it goes Part 5, Part 2, Part 6, Part 7, Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell, and then the lowest, which if you're a completionist and know, is Jason Takes Manhattan. That movie only brought in $14.3 million. But the franchise as a whole has made $466.1 million.
Wow.
That, I mean, for that many movies, that actually seems low. Although most of them were happening in the 80s when box office numbers were lower anyway.
Yeah, I would love to see that number adjusted for inflation for each one of them, each of the movies,
Yeah.
because that certainly would change things. But that's your box office.
So I've got some facts on the upcoming TV show.
Oh, hit us with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called Crystal Lake. It's going to be coming to Peacock.
Okay.
And it's produced by A24.
Shit, okay.
So that bodes well.
Yeah.
However, it is a prequel to the Friday the 13th franchise, focusing on the origins of Jason Voorhees and his mother, Pamela.
Oh my God. What if it was just straight up like Wet Hot American Summer for like 11 episodes, and it's just like you're falling in love with this camp, but there's this weird kid in the corner, and then like that kid just drowns, and that's the end of the first season. There's nothing with the mom. It's just that.
Just that. But the mom is played by Linda Cardellini, who I love Linda Cardellini. She never does us wrong.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great. I remember Mikey had a crush on her. What movie was she in where she was the mom in was it La Llorona?
La Llorona. Yeah, I think she is the mom in La Llorona.
Yeah, she was the mom in that.
Yeah. Although, sadly, because she wasn't the most beautiful woman in all of Mexico, she's not the hottest woman in that movie. Anyway, because this is the Friday the 13th episode and we told you what we're doing last Monday, you already know what's happening, but that movie is going to be, and just remind him, Paige, what is it?
It's Wrong Turn to Dead
That's right.
End.
Oh,
It is Wrong Turn 2 time, babies. So that's your homework for next week.
that movie is insane.
Get that shit done over the weekend. Jonathan thinks it's insane. But Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us and completing the Friday the 13th franchise with us. You weren't on the initial episodes, correct?
I wasn't on the first one, or Freddy versus Jason. I think I've been on every other one.
So we may have to come back and knock out some of those at some point. If you're willing, not to like force you to do more of these.
I love doing it, man.
There's not a Friday the 13th coming up for a while. So I think we'll have enough of a break by then and we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But Jonathan, thank you so much.
Anytime, man.
I can't believe you like committed to this bit so hard with us, and I appreciate it so much. But yeah, we absolutely should have you on for other movies sometimes.
That's fine too. I love talking about horror movies, or just talking about movies in general. It's
I know.
always fun.
I love movies in general. Yeah. So, but do me a favor, tell everyone where they can find more of the awesome stuff that you do. specifically, and also what CinemaSins does at large, because you work at a pretty awesome place.
Yeah, so if you want to follow me specifically, I am mostly on Blue Sky? Is that what Blue Sky?
Yeah, Blue Sky.
Blue Sky and Letterbox, which I just saw you guys were on Blue Sky. I started following you guys.
Yeah. I sort of moved us over there when shit hit the fan on Twitter. Yeah.
I'm at Sam Loomis 13 on those. I'm also at Sam Loomis 13. I'm still on Twitter. I just don't post a lot. But yeah, CinemaSins, the YouTube channel. We have CinemaSins and TV Sins. We do 4 videos a week, 2 from each channel. There's a couple podcasts over there, not podcasts that I'm on personally, but they're still worth listening to, obviously. Recotopia, and we have a Star Trek podcast called Captain's Pod. There is a podcast that me and Chris Atkinson have already completed. We covered all the James Bond films. And
that's right. You were talking about this the last time you were on.
That is called Guns, Diamonds, and Death. And so that is still available if that's something you want to listen to. It's just we're not doing new ones because we covered all the movies until there's a new movie, much like the Friday the 13th.
I was gonna say, are you gonna do updates as the new ones come out?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they still let me hang around CinemaSins that long, I'm sure we will. I'm sure they'll have. We'll do something on it. So yeah.
I'm interested to see who they ultimately go with. I think
me too.
My gut is saying Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I mean, it might just be somebody we've never even thought of.
I honestly think that that's what they should do. They should reach out to an unknown who's got a podcast about horror movies and just loves the James Bond franchise, can't do a British accent, but like would love to see this person try. And that person is Paige Wesley.
That would be amazing.
Jonathan, thank you so much for being on the episode. We really, really appreciate it. And, always good to see you. It's good to have an excuse to like reach out and talk. I love it.
Absolutely, man. This is fun.
So guys, because this is the very special Friday the 13th episode, we are just going to say goodbye. We love you. We hope you enjoyed us completing the series. And Paige, I do think we should do the other 2 with Jonathan.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. Because I wasn't on them either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at some point, we'll do those 2. But thank you so much for listening. We love you guys. I can't believe this tradition lasted all the way through the franchise, technically. Like, that's insane. But we hope you guys enjoyed it. So guys, if you like this show but want to hear Paige and I talk about romantic comedies or just regular romantic movies, check out our other podcast. Some might call it a sister podcast called Romancing the Pod, where we do just that weekly. It's a lot like this show, but for romance and romantic comedies, because Paige doesn't like them. So we make her watch them, just like you guys make me watch horror over here. But if you want to follow me, I am at Todd J. Awesome on all the social media. Paige is at Rampage Wesley on Instagram?
Yes, and TikTok.
And just Paige Wesley on Twitter, because you got that before some CEO lady and she wanted it, but you wouldn't give it back, and I respect you for that.
Refuse.
Also, Paige
Suck it, other Paige Wesley.
Paige is also on another podcast. It's great. You should check it out. It's called Cult Podcast with Armando Torres, who is a wonderful person. And if you want to support this show, go to Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where there are a lot of great levels and a lot of great things. We do the Patreon shout outs at the beginning of every episode. We do listener requests, stuff like that, bonus episodes. So you'll be getting all of that content, plus episodes a day early with no ads, and who doesn't love that? So sign up for the Patreon and get a lot of great stuff.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ooky spooky.
Yeah. Have a Jason week, guys. Bye! He's still very similar to Michael Nerds.